I want to get right back because I have some pushback, but I just don't want to leave Chris hanging here. He said, please tell me Biden knew what he was signing. So that's because I was saying like, Autopen with Trump. But I mean, honestly, I would hold that criticism to Biden and Trump, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. If that's your comparison, then...
Yeah, I would say, with Biden, he needed to get the fuck out. He was, like I said, honestly, a puppet president. I think when you see that so clearly, like, you just have to... I'm not trying to say you're ignorant, but I'm just saying, like, you kind of have to, like... suspend disbelief a little bit. I'm not doing it with my politics. I do that with fucking Marvel movies. I'm not doing that with politics. It's like to believe that like this person's actually making decisions on their own and they're in control in any way. Like I said, in a lot of ways, the president should be that last line of defense to where something is going to be then enacted on the people. Like,
well, they're the decision maker.
But who they put in positions matter.
So my point is to agree with my bad, Chris here. As far as like with Biden, that was the same exact issue, and why the people that were okay with turning their heads or even worse, when you say turn their heads, you kind of allow them a little bit of like. You're not really, you're not holding them accountable, and you're not really talking about how complicit people must have been in the cover-up of what was going on. So the fact that people were allowed to have that, like, how much further does that kind of go? Okay. If you run that idea out all the way to its end, where does that go? Well, I mean, go ahead.
Like Chris and I mean, we've actually talked about it on Facebook because he mentioned stuff like that. At what point, though, does national security matter in regards to...
Isn't that a threat to national security?
No, 100%. So 100%, but you got to hear the other side of that.
Yeah, please.
So if you show that, hey, listen, man, this guy's losing his fucking mind. Mm-hmm. To allies, that's dangerous. You're showing allies that, hey, listen, the guy that's leading your big brother, your leader, is kind of not all in it, okay? It then shows a weakness to your enemies. It shows that, hey, our leader is fucking senile.
Can I just push back and I want to give it right back to you? I want to give it right back to you because I want to respond to what you're saying. Yeah. I totally agree with what you're saying, actually. I think it makes total sense, but it falls apart when you consider they were going to have him run for another 4 fucking years. So like to say, hey, we got to let him run it out, like fucking, you have to have Nancy Reagan come out and talk for Ronald Reagan. We've done this before, actually. Correct. But it's like to say we're going to have him run for another 4 years. Well, then, like I said, then I think it's a cover-up. Yeah. I think it's a situation where there's people that are in power behind the scenes that don't want to give that up.
So I think where people like Cody and Chris were right, and where someone like me was sitting there, I was trying to defend it because obviously you have the other half that you have to oppose. So when you saw Kamala starting to go to everything, it was they're sending Kamala out because Joe can't, and it's like, all right, we saw snippets of him stumbling over words, but he's a known stutterer. So okay, all right. That doesn't mean he's mentally slow. He's just verbally all right. Him falling off a bike. That's an old man.
I think fell it's different, off a bike. Though, man.
But I'm saying, but this is where that goes back to that whole free speech thing at the beginning, where it's showing we weren't seeing all the things that you're seeing.
Right. Yeah.
So then part of it can be construed just like what we see of Trump and say
you're seeing a fabricated.
Yeah, well, that's fabricated. That's fabricated. So we're waiting for our leaders to come out and say, hey, listen, this is what's going on. I think what happened with going into the election, again, this is me speculating, but me trying to put reason to it. He's the incumbent, and we've had this debate before. You can't just go to the incumbent and say, hey, you're not fucking running. Because then what would happen is those who oppose you would then use that as, well, the Democratic Party is controlled by whom? And then they're pulling the strings.
Nobody thinks you think that the Democratic Party is ran by the president?
No, but obviously you're saying like the country.
All
like
of this is evidence that politicians do not have America's best interest in mind.
See, I think that's a cop-out because I'm telling you, man, there are a lot of people who really give a fuck.
They care about their job.
I think there are a lot of politicians who really give a fuck. Bernie Sanders is one who has always really given a fuck. And that's fair.
Minority.
Well, then we're in agreement. Yeah. You got both your statements could even be true.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think Cody's probably correct. There's a lot of people that had interest in the cabinet that didn't want to give up that after 4 years. And then also, I don't think that Joe Biden's blameless in this. Another thing to kind of like push back against your timeline of things, which I agree with your timeline of things, but it kind of becomes irrelevant when we had the debate He fucking looked like a confused old man on the fucking debate stage. And, like, I don't think Trump is, like, some incredible
He didn't look good either.
He
didn't look good either.
Yeah.
He didn't win. Biden just lost.
He just
but
fucking, he was, like, shitting
that's what
himself on
bothers
stage.
me, though.
Well, no, but hold on. Just
we'll
because then after that, we have him go on CNN, and he's saying, only God could tell me that Jesus Christ himself tell me that.
Well, Obama did come and tell him.
Yeah,
okay.
I guess. And, look, hey, Black Jesus came down. But,
Obama came, all right? God gave it to him.
So my point being is, like, well, then the thing is that then that option was always there to begin with then. And, like, people that were the leaders, and we're not talking about the leaders in the sense, like, who's the minority leader or anything like that. We're talking about the true leaders. Like, when you look at history, the true leaders, somebody needed to step up in that moment. Like, that was obvious.
And they did it.
Like,
and there was cowardice. And, you know, and I've said this, it's a stain on the Democratic Party.
Over and over again.
And they have to overcome that stain. And it's like, but to push back a little earlier about tribalisms and all that, about me with white nationalism with Trump, and we can't look at grouping people. When people thought Obama was Muslim, and still do, it was a problem. We'll never have a Muslim president.
Wrong.
We'll never have a Muslim president. It's hard enough to even say that Pete Buttigieg has a fair shot because he's gay. Okay.
What point? Okay, I'm listening. So, I'm just trying to understand.
So what I'm saying is, like, that's what we do as people. We always do that. So I get where you can say it's wrong with the white nationalist part, like bringing it back.
Gotcha.
And it's just that when we're looking at certain things, I think it does matter. I think who you're surrounding yourself with. When you look at who our Department of Education head is, she has no. McMahon has no fucking history in education. There's all these positions where it's like they have no history. You know they're put in there to do one thing, and that's to destroy it. So that way we can do what? We can privatize. We can do it because we raised the debt ceiling. So if it was in order to, hey, we're going to come in here, we're going to take all this down, so that way we save the money for you guys. That didn't happen.
No, I agree.
And where are the people? Where are the loyalists now saying, hey, whoa, that's not what I wanted.
Cutting spending.
But we said that was going to happen. We like when Kamala and Trump were on the debate stage, and Kamala laid out this extensive tax plan, this extensive budget plan, this way to say, hey, we're going to attack inflation by doing this. All these things, she laid it out. And then we asked Trump, what about you? And he said, I have the concept of a plan. That should have been a, bro, you're not taking this shit as seriously as we need you to. But it became such a tribalistic thing of, this is my side, and fuck you if you're not, and this is my side, and fuck you if you're not.
I mean,
both sides. And we have to break that shit.
I agree. I mean, I've had that gripe with politics since I got interested in learning about it. Like, I always compare it to sports. Like, it's like, this is your sports team, and you're just loyal to them no matter what the fuck happens. They lose every game in a season. Right. They're still your fucking team. Every other team sucks. Like, and that's how it is. And you wear your jersey, and you rep your jersey, and I mean,
bro, and it's blue no matter who.
Yeah.
See, but you look here, bro. We have a local community who hates big government, a local community who hates overdevelopment, but yet you voted in developers because they ran as Republicans. You didn't give a fuck about who they were, what their background is, anything about it.
That's a sick move.
And then now, dangerous game with politics.
And they have been just every 2 years revoted. Well, our county's on 3-year things, but they're voted in, and it's like, bro, can we stop? And right now, in 2025, there should be enough out there to where we can go ahead and stop that bullshit and really get down to what matters.